Hello, everyone. My guest today is Eric Frankel. If you haven't heard of him before, you should know him. He's an innovative business leader with a proven track record in both traditional media and new and emerging technologies. He's the CEO and founder of a company called AdGreetz, the industry's leading SaaS video personalization platform that is disrupting the $560 billion advertising marketplace by empowering brands worldwide to build stronger relationships with customers and exponentially increase engagement. Eric, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yes, I'm ready to take it from the top.
AdGreetz, how are you doing this? How are you disrupting the market, and what's your revenue model? How do you make money?
Brands pay us tens of thousands of dollars a month, in the low tens of thousands of dollars a month, to take their advertising from what we call one size fits all that doesn't really fit anyone to hundreds of thousands or millions of unique versions that talk to Nathan on Tuesday about his baseball cap and black t-shirt.
And how does it do that? If someone sends you one video, let's say this is my face right now, a recorded message, and how do you make my lips move to say John or Sam or Susie?
Well, we don't really. There's a whole creative process. What it's really about is that you and I don't really want to see a commercial today, I'm going to assume, Nathan, that's talking to us about dresses and pocketbooks and women's jewelry. But the same...
Well, not me, Eric. I don't know about you, though.
Yeah, me neither. Look at the beard. I can't get away with it, Nathan. But the same department store sells black t-shirts and blue jeans and cool sneakers that you and I like and baseball caps and whatever. So we literally work with the creative process and literally make thousands and thousands of variables that all get connected and make a cohesive message based on data. So it knows you're Nathan, it knows what city you're in, it knows what day it is when you're watching, and based on 7 different kinds of data, we'll talk to you about, in this particular case, products that store sells
in a video format.
In a video format.
Okay, got it. So the CEO or whatever head of product records 20 videos, and then you know that if a customer has tags X, Y, and Z, they should get video 3 at this time on this day.
So briefly, we just did one last week for Nissan. They have a mailing list of hundreds of thousands of customers. Which of the 13 model Nissans over which of the 10 years they own. So we're talking to you about your 2013 Rogue or Altima. We know you're in Toronto. We know you bought your car at Toronto Nissan. And there are about 8 different variables to get together. There'd be 6 billion different versions, and that one's done with voiceover graphics and various images of cars driving.
Okay, so it's not necessarily in the video format. It's not a talking head saying, "Hey, I know you bought this in Toronto a year ago." You use other more scalable forms of text over video or something to create the customization.
The answer is we use whatever the brand and their creative entity wants them to use. So yes, we do have Olympic athletes, and we do have Lady Antebellum telling you why Oreos are great. But then we also just have a card that comes up that says, "Nathan, we hope you're not going to miss the big sale at blah, blah, blah," and where the local retailer is, that's a mile from your house, and so on and so forth. So any and all creative auspices.
How many customers have you scaled to today?
We've done this for about 80 Fortune 500 brands all around the world, all different languages.
Okay. And if I take 80 times that, you said a minimum of 10 grand a month. I mean, that's 800 grand a month. Is that generally accurate?
No, last year we did a couple of $1 million, up from about half of that the year before, up from about half of that the year before. And the business has gone from a Nathan, get away from me, kid, you bother me, I don't want to hear anymore, to a, hey, this sounds really interesting. Are you available to walk me through how this works tomorrow? And then hopefully the next one is, hey, we want to sign up. And then we go from dozens of clients to hundreds to thousands.
What's it called? You said a couple million in 2016. Are we talking like 3 million?
No, we're talking about literally a couple, 2 million in 2017, half of that in 2016, half of that in 2015. And I'm hoping that we'll do more than double 2017's revenue in 2018. We already have most of 2017's revenue already booked.
So you doubled in 2017, 100% year-over-year growth rate.
100% the last couple of years in a row.
That's great. Bootstrapped, or have you raised capital?
Raised $10 million from smart industry leaders and myself.
Why did you decide to raise if you have your own capital?
Well, I don't have that much capital. I was the former president of Warner Brothers Television Distribution and spent 20 some odd years there and did quite well. but needed more money than I had in case I was wrong, so that my children could still go to college and my wife and I could still go to dinner. So I put in about $2 million and we raised another $8 million from some terrific, smart, well-known executives from around the U.S.
One of those executives goes, Eric, listen, I don't want to be your insurance policy. If you're not confident in this thing to put in more money, why do you want my money to serve as your just-in-case money? How do you counter that?
That's not really what happened. I sat down with a stranger who's one of the leading entertainment lawyers in the world, who turned to me and said, Eric, I may be the lawyer too, and I could name 15 huge executives and celebrities that you and all your listeners would be familiar with. He said, but you know what I really like to do, Eric? I really like to invest in cool new businesses with people like you. And he said, I'm in. And then he other friends and other friends and other friends. And next thing we know, he had $10 million and we were off to the races.
Okay. And now I assume that was priced equity round.
Yeah.
What valuation did you negotiate? And was that pre-revenue or no?
Well, that was pre-revenue. And off the top of my head, because it's already about 6 years ago, we raised $10 million at, $16 million valuation.
Pre-money or post?
Pre-money or post. That was post.
Okay, post. So you were valued at $6 million in pre, you raised 10, so you were 16 million post, which means you sold over 50% of the company.
We sold, yes, I own a little less than a third of the company.
Got it. And now today, if you're doing about a $2 million run rate, that's about $160,000 per month, I assume, across 80 customers. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Okay. And walk me through, you mentioned like the Nissan example, they seem very campaign driven. Do you have a churn problem?
Well, I wouldn't call it a problem. The trick is, or the goal is, to convince brands, which we're doing quite well, that this is a 12-month-a-year business. This isn't Merry Christmas. This isn't Halloween. This is, hey, Nathan, we haven't seen you for a while. Come on in. Hey, Nathan, the new cars are in. Hey, Nathan, your favorite black T-shirt's on sale. And how do you converse and how do you do things that are relevant, that build stronger relationships versus weaken the relationship and make you and me want to spend more money with that brand or have a greater affinity, since, as you know, most of us don't have tremendous affinities to brands because they're not conversing with us, they're speaking at us, or they're doing things with static images.
Mm-hmm. Aren't you trying to solve a problem, though, that you have no control over? What I mean by that is I'm only going to buy a car once every 10 years. A T-shirt might be once a month. So the car company might churn because they don't need a lot of life cycle, customized messages, versus the clothing company needs a lot. So they're going to be stickier. Do you see that pattern? And if so, does that frustrate you?
No. So the answer is that there's ads that are prospecting. There are ads that say thank you. There are ads that say you might need a tune-up, and there are ads asking you to come in to check out the new model, or that your lease is up, Nathan, in 89 days, and you have some decisions to make. So the logic is it's always a better mousetrap. What town are you in today, Nathan?
Austin, Texas.
Right. So it's always a better mousetrap to sit here, and whether we say Nathan or whether we say there's never been a better time in Austin than this Tuesday or this weekend to test out the new Toyota Prius, and then remind you where your Prius dealership is, ask you to click a link. And when we do that, surprise, surprise, we get 225% more people to click, set up an appointment for 11 a.m. on Saturday, Nathan, and now you're pregnant. And now there's a really good chance you're going to come in and test drive it, which doesn't happen in the same manner from the awareness spot that just tells you it's a great commercial.
What's your CAC? What are you paying to acquire one of these big customers?
We don't really look at our business that way. What we have is we have a number of people, including myself, and on an average week, we literally we write about 50 letters to new prospects, and we write second, third, and fourth letters to about 150 people that we previously wrote to, trying to get meetings set up. And it's pretty hot. We can barely keep up with them. We're doing about 15 to 24 meetings where we do custom presentations, and we show you your existing commercial, the better version, your existing Facebook, the better version.
So what's your team size today to be able to handle all those letters?
So the team size today is about 17 people. We started with 38, and like many, many startups, we're very transparent here.
What year was year one, Eric?
Year one was 2010. Okay. We started off selling personalized birthday cards, e-invites, ringtones, and so on. So your phone would ring and it would say, "Yo, Nathan, it's some recording artist. Answer your phone. It's your friend Eric calling." And we didn't like, after a while, selling $3 items to Nathan and giving $1.50 back to Disney or whomever it might be. And we decided a better model would be, so after about 3 years, spent a year building the platform, a couple of years doing that. And then we pivoted, like many, many startups, taking $33,000 from brands a month versus selling you a $3 toy and giving $1.50 back to the right someone.
Now today, though, if you've got 80 customers and about 2 million run rate, they're each paying about $2,000 per month, right?
No, because we don't have 80 customers. That's how many we've been through.
Got it. How many do you serve today?
And so we do about 10 in any month and about 6 full-time, year-long contracts, with more coming on regularly. So a Nissan has to test it and do a couple of months with us, see the success before they realize, what the benefits are of doing it 12 months a year.
Well, so Eric, when I hear that you've gone through 80, but you have 10 today, I mean, you are more like an agency than you are a SaaS model. That's what I mean. I imagine a lot of my listeners are thinking that right now, and they're going, he better ask Eric about that.
Sure. No, well, we do a lot of agency-oriented things, but primarily this takes more work than delivering one commercial to the CBS television network. And a lot of brands and a lot of people at those brands aren't ready yet to roll up their sleeves. Nathan, I helped invent video on demand, and I spent 10 years knocking on the doors of all of the cable and satellite executives. And for 9 years, they would say, "What are you talking about? Nathan's happy to watch NCIS tonight at 9 o'clock. And we said, no, the future of television is the ability for Nathan and everyone else to have 100, 1,000, 20,000 choices. And after 9 years, we finally helped everyone find religion. And that will happen in this exact same way. So people come back and they do a test and they say, "Oh, we get it now. Sorry, it's taken us 2 years. We now have the manpower, the data, the time."
But Eric, why don't they stick? They do it once and then leave.
Because it's heavy lifting and it's a lot more work.
So all the better reason to keep paying you.
Well, they have to do a lot of work. Data isn't clean, so everyone's just getting into the data business. So, for example, things like e-commerce know who their customers are, know what they buy, so on and so forth. But it's like anything new. I've done this because I'm older than you, Nathan, and because I spent 28 years at Warner Brothers inventing cable and paid television and video on demand and all of these things. I have a history of seeing how new products evolve. And the answer is they evolve a lot less quickly than the entrepreneur behind them would like in most cases. And the interviews that you do where a brand goes up like that frequently go down in the same manner. So most of this is hard work, long-term commitments, and a lot of, elbow grease.
Yeah. What I'm trying to figure out, though, is a lot of the CEOs that I'll interview, that their stacking functions are better. In other words, all the 100, I'm going to use your example, all the 150 letters they sent out last month, those people they know will stay with them for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, which then frees up time for them the next month to keep stacking on top of it. What I hear you saying, I mean, you are very much in a mouse wheel. You have to write and prospect every month to close more, grub so that you can eat the next month, and which obviously takes up your time and then disenables you to kind of go high level and focus on changing the whole industry because you're focused on the tactics. How do you think about that?
No, what we really are is Johnny Appleseed, and no one's ever eaten an apple. And we're walking around the world and saying, if you plant these seeds, you get this tree and you get these great results.
But they don't stick. That's the problem. So they don't see them as great results for whatever reason.
Well, a lot of them do. And we're happy with 8, and 8 will go to 16 and we'll go to 64 and we'll go to hundreds. And, I have no doubt. And yeah, and the other thing is the business that we're in, the tactics that we do evolve. So I'm making it up. You started with email. We're the only person in this business right now who deploys on 18 channels. Believe it or not, here's the best example. Amazon launched 30 years ago, give or take. And almost every retailer that you know of didn't launch e-commerce for 15 years thereafter. And some of them, all the consumer packaged goods companies, don't even offer e-commerce today. So it takes people a long time to grasp. And even if Unilever does a little e-commerce experiment here, doesn't mean they have religion and they're really in the business, even though somebody named Amazon or whatever is the 800-pound gorilla. So you can't assume there's not as much logic as you would think. That just because you like a hamburger, you're going to eat a hamburger every night and you're going to have millions of people eating hamburgers.
Yeah, but I mean, you've been around 1/3 the time that Amazon has, right? You launched in 2010. So what I'm just trying to figure out is this more, I mean, you strike me as a very creative guy. I'm just trying to figure out.
We're just celebrating our 8th anniversary.
Yeah. I mean, people are, Eric, though, people are buying, they're buying you. I mean, they're buying you and your creative genius. I mean, that's what they're buying.
No, they're buying the concept, which is hard to embrace for some of them, that you and I don't want to know about dresses and we don't want to know about lipstick and we want to know about what we like and we want ads that are entertaining, compelling, and activating. And many, many people say, why would I change? And that's why we're seeing many, many popular stores that we know close hundreds of outlets.
Sure. Eric, we're running out of time, and I want to get this one last question in. Do you feel stuck? In other words, to get a return for your shareholders, you've got to sell for well north of $16 million just to get the money back and be even. You're at $2 million right now, so that'd have to be an 8x ARR, which would be incredible for you to get considering the churn rate. Do you ever feel stuck?
Never feel stuck at all. Feel optimistic. Here's the best way to explain it that I think you'll get, Nathan, as we close out here, is we used to get 2 inquiries a year. Hi, I've heard of this thing. This is interesting. We get 10 a week. So the difference between 2 a year and 520, and it grows every single week. So we're busy teaching the world a new, better, smarter way. Not everyone wants to be smart. It takes a long time to convince people to be smart, but eventually it works. And you end up with thousands of clients at $33,000 a month. And that's what the home run is. My investors are very patient.
Let's wrap up, Eric, with the famous 5 one-word answers here. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
What's my favorite business book? I don't know off the top of my head. You should have sent me these.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Well, you know what? My whole business in prospecting is based on following tons of CEOs and looking for the smart ones who might.
Eric, just name one you respect in the entertainment industry or in your past.
So, I mean, obviously, we all, I was friends with or friendly with Steve Jobs at Apple, and he offered me jobs to come and work for him several times. And Jeff Bezos, the two of them, I'm not friends with Jeff Bezos. The two of those, I would say, are the smartest leaders that we've seen in the last 20 years in business.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for growing your business?
What's my favorite online tool for growing our business? I mean, we're nuts and bolts. I mean, we send email letters and then we do presentations on a format called Prezi. That's terrific. That looks great and makes our product shine.
Perfect. Prezi's wonderful. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I'm actually a huge believer in exercise and sleep. So until recently, where India is blowing up for us, so I'll start doing this at 6 or 7 with Europe and finish at 9 and 10 at night with India. But I try to get 6-7 hours a night. And
what's your situation? Married, single, you have kiddos?
Married, 1 wife, 30-ish years, and a 19 and 23-year-old sons.
That's great. And how old are you?
I am 59, a youthful 59, just back from my 4 time a week heavy duty exercise class, which I think helps facilitate this insane lifestyle.
Are you stronger? Are you stronger than your sons?
No, my 23-year-old works out every day because he's into really looking good because he's 23. And the 19-year-old still has a 19-year-old, water polo player, swimmer's body. So no, but I do like to take them to my to my workout class. My older one likes it. The other one thinks that everyone's too old and he doesn't want to be there. Even though, by the way, most of the people are 30 years old. But for the 19-year-old, that's really old and over the hill.
Last question, Eric. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
What do I wish my 20 self? Probably to listen more, speak a little bit less, and maybe respect the corporate system a little bit more.
Why'd you tell Steve Jobs no?
Well, I was under contract at Warner Brothers at the time, and I said, I can't have this conversation with you, or if they found out, they could let me go and I'd be out of a job. And it was actually going to work at Pixar. And at Warner Brothers, I had 7,000 programs sold on any given day, and he wanted me to handle the one Pixar movie a year, which 7,000 versus one, I wouldn't know what I would do most of the day.
Many people say he's a competitive guy. I assume when you told him no, it made him hungrier. What incentives did he try and throw at you to convince you?
Now, you know what? My take on him was rather simple. If you were weak or not that smart, he would probably bully and go after you. If you had good ideas and spoke your mind and weren't insecure, he respected you and was quite nice. So all of the horror stories we've heard, I never saw with myself. When he did come to Warner Brothers, I did see him beat up a number of my colleagues.
There you guys have it from Eric. Speak a little less, listen a little bit more. Launched company back in 2010, AdGreetz. Now 17 people, down from 38 as they focus on scaling, doubling year over year. Did about 1 million run rate in 2016, doubled that to 2 million in 2017. Now serving about 10 customers, doing about 160, 70 grand per month in revenue. Again, scaling customized greetings based off data sets from these very large companies in a video format, and some very interesting tech behind that. Eric, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you for inviting me, Nathan.